Hello and welcome to this new video on my channel. Hope you are enjoying all my videos on the channel. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for the new video. This video is about a new feature release on Microsoft Power BI. So let's have a deeper look at that. Hello and welcome to another episode of Abstract Thesis series, and in today's video we are going to discuss translytical task flows using which we can get write back facilities to Fabric databases from Power BI. Yes, we will be able to write back onto the Fabric databases using Power BI reports. We can create form inside Power BI using some of the Power BI visuals, and using that we will be able to write back data into the Fabric databases. To understand that, let's proceed to the article on this feature. This is the article which I'm also going to share in comments. Understand translytical task flows. With translytical task flows, you can automate end user actions like updating records, adding annotations, or creating workflows that trigger action in other systems. Translytical task flows enable automated scenarios including add data, add a record, data to the table in your database and see it reflects in your reports. For example, adding new customer record. Edit an existing record of data in table in your database and see it reflects in your report. Same way you can do delete data also, or call an external API. Make an API request that's accessible through the network request. For example, making a request to REST API endpoint of public API that either updates the underlying data of the end user's input or takes an action in different system. How do we use it? Translytical task flows work by using user data functions in Fabric to invoke the functions on underlying Fabric data sources. If you further go down, you will see data write back. Translytical task flows can enable data write back so that users can update, add, or delete data in Fabric databases from Power BI reports. Using Fabric's user data functions, you can programmatically update, add, or delete record of data based on filter context passed from the report. We are going to explore this feature. Now, to explore this feature, you need to enable a couple of settings. Now, one of the settings which you need to enable is in the Power BI service, that you need to enable the user data function, and the second setting is in the Power BI desktop. We will see the second setting when we'll reach to the Power BI desktop. Let's begin with Power BI service. Now here in app.powerbi.com, I'm going to go to settings, admin portal, tenant settings, and I will enable user data functions. So let me search for that. So under the Microsoft Fabric, I have user data function preview, and I have enabled it for entire organization. If needed, you can enable this for specific security group or accept specific security group. With this enabled, I will now go to my workspace, which is 01-GA Fabric. Now this workspace is using a trial capacity that present in India. And the reason I'm telling you that when I'm going to create the user data function, the testing is not allowed in my region. So for that, what we are going to do is, we are going to test it in another region. I'm going to use another workspace when I use warehouses. So we'll start this journey with SQL databases. So I've already filtered SQL databases in my workspace. How to create SQL database and how to use it, I have already explained in my previous video, and I'll provide the link in the description. Let me click on the SQL DB 0002. In this database, I would like to create a table where I would like to insert and update the data. I will start a new query, and inside the new query, I would like to create an employee table here. So the syntax is create table, table name. Between the parentheses, I need to provide column details. Employee ID int, identity 1,1, not null, and I can also add primary key constraint. As you know, it is very similar to SQL Server or Azure SQL. I can have identity as well as primary key. Name, varchar 500, not null, age int, not null. Let me create this table. Now my table is ready. Let me duplicate this tab and go back to my workspace 01 GA fabric. Inside my workspace, now I want to create new user data function. I have already enabled user data function in my tenant settings. For that, now I need to go to new item. Inside new item, I will search for user data function. Once I see user data function, I can click on that and it will ask for a name. So here I would like to create EMP insert update user data function. And let me click on create. So I've given a name and now I will click on create. It will land me to empty user data function explorer UI where I can create the new function. So here if you see I have an option to create a new function and I'll create a new function by clicking on new function. In this UI I will be able to create more than one function and function's name will appear on the left hand pane just like the example hello fabric function is coming in. As you can notice, the text function facility is not available in my region. I will showcase you same in some time in another workspace which belongs to a different region. So let me explain you what you need to do to create this function. So first of all, you need to import the libraries which you need. Then you need to define UDF fn.userData function. Then @UDF.function is where you will start defining your function. Define the function definition, your function name and the arguments. And if return something outside the parenthesis. And inside that you can write down your code and finally you can return the string because we have said we are going to return a string. Now what I have done is I have already created this user data function for insert and update. So let me bring that code for you. I'm going to replace this function with this code. Now you can see I am having udf.connection. Argument name is SQLDB, which I'm going to use further down. Alias is SQLDB 001. Now why it is giving error? Because I have not established any connection. Now how to get a connection? For that you have to go on the top here and use manage connection. This will allow you to connect with various fabric sources where we can write using our user data functions. So click on manage connections and inside the manage connection as of now you don't see any connection. I'll click on add connection and inside the add connection I'll use SQLDB 0002 and click on that and click on connect. It will automatically add that with the same alias. I can click on edit connection and change the alias. I can change it to SQLDB 001 and let me also copy this and click on update. Now this is the alias I can use here. So I can come and replace this alias if it is not same. I will provide you this code so that you can simply use it. Then I created a new function define the function, write to SQLDB. SQLDB, this is the argument we had in the connection. fn.fabric SQL connection is what we are using here. So SQL connection we are using. Employee name is a string, that what I'm expecting. Employee age int I'm expecting here and I'm going to return the string. I'm going to put both of them inside data. Data equals to within the parenthesis employee name comma employee age. The next step is establishing the connection. Connection equals to SQLDB, the argument which we have taken above, dot connect. And then we go to start the cursor. Cursor is connection dot cursor. Now I'm going to write down my insert query. Insert query equals to insert into EMP. I'm not using ID here. Why I'm not using the employee ID here? The reason for that is because I have used the identity in my table and it will automatically insert that. Name comma age only I need to insert and values is question mark question mark. It means I need to supply these variable. And that is the reason why above I have created this data. Now I'm going to supply this data. So cursor dot execute this insert query comma data. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to commit the transactions. The data get inserted into the database. Cursor dot close, closing the cursor. Connection dot close, closing the connection, and return employee record was added to this table. So employee record is added. Now once we are done with that, we should be able to add this one. I'm not going to test it this time, but I'm going to show you the testing little later. Now I would also like to add the update code below it. I got the update code and @udf.connection, you can see again the alias is giving problem because that's not available. So I'm going to change it. After that, @udf.function, again defining update 1 to SQL DB, same kind of parameter, but this time I'm also employee ID integer, employee name string, employee age int, and it returns string. Here I'm not handling what happens if you don't supply the employee name. So I need to take care while creating the form that I'm going to update the name, but you should handle what happens if the null value or empty string is coming, you don't need to update. Now in the data I'm adding employee name, employee age, and employee ID in this sequence. I've changed the sequence a little bit. Connection SQL db.connect, cursor connection.cursor. Next is update query description, update emp set name question mark, age question mark, where employee ID equal to question mark, cursor.execute update query description and the data. And now you realize why the employee ID was third, because it is the third argument which I'm supplying here, and that is the reason why I was having it like that. Connection.commit, cursor.close, connection.close, and the message to be returned. If these functions are correct, it should be able to work. Right now in my region I cannot test it. If I want to test these, then I can use Open VS Code and test it out there, but I show you how to test it on Microsoft Fabric by using another region little later. The next step is to publish these. So I'm going to publish, and if something is wrong, then that function is going to error out. So my functions are ready. They are getting published. I also need to have a semantic model. So I'll go to SQL DB 0002, and there I need to go to SQL Analytics endpoint. In that I'll go to reporting, and I'm going to create a new semantic model. And in this new semantic model, let me give it as a name demo UDF SM01. I at least need one table, and the table I am going to use is employee. Now this table should sync with my SQL DB table, because this is the delta table. I can only create my semantic model on the delta table, which is available in the replicated SQL Analytics endpoint in case of SQL DB. Let me click on confirm. My semantic model is ready, and I can do few changes here. In the employee table, the employee ID, if you see it having aggregation, I can click on that, go to advanced, and summarize by I can make none, and I can repeat this step for age also. Once this is ready, I can now use this semantic model in my Power BI report. So let me go to my Power BI desktop and start creating a blank report. I'm here on my Power BI desktop. I've already opened it, and let me click on blank report. In this blank report, I'll go to OneLake catalog, and I'm going to use Power BI semantic models. Here I'm going to use demo UDF SM01 and click on connect. I don't want to edit this model. If I want to edit, I have option edit it on the down arrow key. I just would like to connect here. Now right now, as you know, I don't have any data. So I'm going to create the first page to insert the data. To do that, first of all, I need to see that few preview features are enabled. I'll go to File, Options and Setting, Option, and here inside the preview features, I need to make sure that I have enabled the button slicer, the list slicer, and the text slicer. And I have to make sure that I have also enabled Translytical Task Flows. If you have enabled it right now, just click on OK. Otherwise, you can simply click on cancel and come out. Make sure you are using a version where this feature is available. Insert any record, I at least need two fields, and both these fields are going to be text slicer in my case. So first one would be enter name, and I'm not attaching it with any field. I'll click on the empty field and again add text slicer, and that could be enter age. And to make it a little more visible, let me go to view and customize current theme, text. Let me increase the size. Let me do this for all text size related properties and click on apply. To make it work, what we need is a button. So I have to go to insert in the ribbon, and there are buttons, and I can insert a blank button. I can drag it below, and here I can go to the button style and name it by enabling the text. Let's call it save or insert record. After that, I can go down and here comes the main thing, action, enable the action, and the action is data function. I've created a few of them. So now I need to search first of all my workspace, which is 01-GA fabric. Inside that also I've created quite a few function sets. Now the function set which I right now going to use is emp insert update UDF, which we created very recently. And after that I can choose the data function. This time I'm going to use write. And after write I can come and in the employee name what I will choose? I'll choose enter name. I can use a function and can choose a major also. Employee age I will associate with age slicer. So these two are attached. Do I need auto clear? Yes, after entering may would like to have auto clear. I'll click on those and then I'll come out. I would like to enter the first record. Let me enter Amit as a name. Age, let me add anything, let's say 30. Come out, and in the desktop what we need to do to click on a button, control click. So control click on save. So employee record was added to this table. So record has been added. Now to test this out, let's go back to Power BI service and check the record in SQL DB. So we are here and here we are right now in SQL Analytics endpoint, which may take little time to sync. So I can go to SQL database and can just check this out. So let's query on this table. I'll add a new query, select star from EMP. I got one record. In same manner, I can add another record, let's say Sumit, and age is 34. And control plus click. Now the first time would be a little slower, post that it is a little fast. Now I would like to update this data. We add a new page again from bottom. Let me create the table first, because how do I pass the employee ID? Either I create a selection box from where I selected, or maybe I create a table where I click and do that. So I add employee ID on the empty canvas. It's going to create a table visual. I can add name and age into the visual. Now sometime SQL Analytics endpoint may take a little time to update. You may not be able to see information so quickly. I got my table. Now I want to add those fields again. I'm going to copy them from the insert page and paste them onto the page 1 and move them little on the right side. And let me rename this page as update. Also let me change the titles, update name and update age. I can go to the title and also enter it, update age, update name. I'll go to the save button and here I would like to change few things. So first of all, the function set is same, but I want to use update. Now here in the update I need to provide 3 arguments. So first argument, update name, employee ID. How do I get the employee ID? I don't have employee ID. So what my plan is, I'll click on one particular record and update that. So for that I'm going to go to function fx and I'll use employee table and I'll use employee ID. I can have a major also, and here I'm going to use max of selected. If more than one is selected, then you will get only one record, and that is the max employee ID. Click on OK and then update age. So update name, update age and the employee ID. Now click on any of the name. I cannot populate it here, but I can go ahead and type it again, and I'm doing it because I have not written the code in a manner that I can handle the blank values. Then age, let me change it to 35. Right now it is 30. Let me come out and control click. If everything goes fine, it should update the record. So the employee record was updated. Let's go back to the database and check it out. I'm here back on my database. Let me run this. Let's change here. Let's go to our Power BI report. Let's refresh this report. This may take a little time, but it has changed. And one thing we forgot is that we have not cleared some of these fields. So we can click on the save button and go ahead and switch on the auto clear. So now you have seen I am able to insert and update. Same ways you can try out other operations also. Now this is what we have done on SQL database. Can I do same thing on warehouse? Yes, you can do the same thing on the warehouse also. And now I'm going to try out. But But before that, let me save this report. Demo update SQL DB, or we can call it demo insert update SQL DB and save it. Also, let me start a new file, because when we are going to come back, we are going to have another semantic model on my warehouse, which I'm going to use here. So what I'm going to do now is, I will go back to my Power BI service, and here, now I'll switch gear and open another workspace. But that workspace required a different capacity, which is right now not running. So let me open my Azure portal and switch on my US capacity, which I'm now going to use because I would like to test these functions also. Fabric audit is in USA region and it is up and running right now. Now let's go back to the workspace which is using this capacity. So workspace is 0101 Fabric Copilot. This is the same workspace which I'm also using for Copilot. Here in this workspace, I already have a warehouse 01. Also, let me show you which capacity it is using. So workspace setting, license info, and you can see I'm using F2 capacity with East US region. And in this region, we will be able to test our code. First of all, let me check if that table exists here. I'll go to warehouse, and in this warehouse, let me see if the table exists, or I can create a new one. Let me go to table, EMP. I already have this table. So let me add a new SQL query and drop this table. Drop table dbo.emp. I'm going to drop this table. I have some records. We could have used that, but we want to start afresh, and let me create this new table. Now, as you know, in the warehouse, both identity and primary key, which is enforced primary key, is not supported. So I'm not having that. Then how do I get employee ID? I'll give you the code for that also. So create table dbo.employee, employee ID int not null, name varchar 500, age int not null. Let me run this and it will create an empty table. Let's select and see, is there any data in this? New query, select star from dbo emp and run it. Select star from dbo employee. We will not get any data for this. So no data. Let's begin our journey of creating another function set. So let's go to the workspace, new item, user data function, function set UI. We need to give the name. So we can call it demo emp wh warehouse insert update ud f user data function create. So we got a function set, and inside the function set we'll be able to create new function. So we'll add a new function here. It's going to add the hello fabric function, which we can test now because in this region the testing is allowed. If you want, you can go ahead and click on the 3 dots and click on test, and you can say hello Amit test. It will run this and give you the output. Welcome to fabric functions Amit and the date. So this was the function which was already written. Now before I bring in the code, let's establish the connection. So click on manage connections. Inside manage connection, add connection, warehouse 01 from Copilot workspace, connect. Let's keep the alias name same once it is there, wh01, and come back. This time again I'm going to bring in the code, but there is a small change in the code which I will showcase you. The code is same, udf fn.userdata function, and then we are defining udf.connection, argument name warehouse. You can give any name here. Alias is wh01, which we already created. Then we are defining the right function the same way. I'm taking the employee name and employee age. Data is employee name, employee age. Then connection is warehouse.connect. Cursor is connection.cursor. Now here I've separately created the insert statement. Within the triple quotes, I've created this insert into. Now we have to give the complete name. After doing a little bit of R&D over internet, I found out you can't simply give a table name or schema.table name. You have to give complete name, warehouse.dbo.emp. The driver which has been used here is same what we have used for SQL DB, but there is a small difference in the code. We have to use the warehouse name. Then employee ID, name and age. Here I'm inserting employee ID. Now how do I going to get the employee ID? That is what I'm going to write down inside the values. So inside the value I'm doing this select alias max of employee ID, and if it max of employee ID is blank, then I'm doing this alias to get the 0 plus 1 from warehouse 01.dbo.employee, and other two are arguments. Then I go to cursor.execute, insert query, and I supply the data. Again the same data has been taken, employee name and employee age. Connection.commit, cursor.close, and connection.close, and then the message. Then we have the update, and in this update we have three arguments: employee ID, employee name, employee age. Again all three in the same order like the previous one: employee name, age, and employee ID. Connection SQLDB.connect, and then cursor equals to connection.cursor. Then update query in the very similar manner. The only change is fully qualified table name, and the set statement connection.commit, cursor.close, connection.close, and a message. We are all set here, and I would like to test it now. So let me click on test here. Now I would like to give employee name here Amit and age 30. Let me go ahead and test it out. You can see the data is inserted. Now let's go to the other tab in our warehouse and let's query this table from DBO. Employee table, right click, new SQL query, select top 100 rows, and we got that employee. Let's test the update function also. So click on the three dots of update, ellipsis icon, test. ID is 1, name value is Amit, and again I have not handled, so I have to give the value, and age let's say 35. Test. I got the success message that employee table is updated. I can go ahead and query that out, and yes, the age is updated. I need a semantic model to work on the Power BI report, so I'll go to reporting, new semantic model. I can actually create one on the desktop also. I have video on the channel for that. You can watch out that. The direct link model you can create from desktop. The UI is open. Time to give name to this new semantic model. Now this is WHSM for UDF, and we are going to add one table only, EMP table, and confirm. So click on the confirm. We'll get another semantic model which we are going to use on Power BI desktop. My semantic model is ready, and just like last time, couple of changes. Employee ID in the advanced properties, summarize by none. So I have used employee ID summarization none. My model is now ready. Time to go back to Power BI desktop again, and this time I don't need to enable the setting again of Power BI desktop. It is already enabled, so we can quickly connect with our semantic model using the home ribbon, one click catalog, Power BI semantic models, and this time we have to use the new semantic model WHSM for UDF. Click on that, connect. We have to repeat the same exercise, isn't it? First page we have to create the insert. Let the model get loaded. So model is loaded now. The first page, rename, insert. Let me quickly add two text slicers. Let me adjust the theme little bit. And if you want to know how to do all these things, I have already explained all these things in my 20-hour video and theme video. You can watch those. I'm just quickly going to make the font little larger. And the reason for that, for recording, it helps to have a larger font. Now enter text. I can click on there and change the title from there, or I can do from the properties, enter name and enter age or simply age. Now the magic will happen once we bring in the button, insert, button, blank button, put it in the correct place in the UI or canvas, button style, enable the text, give it as a name, save, come down, go to action, enable it, action, and I'm going to use data function. Now I need to change the workspace. I'm going to use my workspace, which is 0101 Fabric Copilot, demo, EMP, warehouse, insert, update, UDF, function. And why this is not giving function name? The reason is we have not published it. So let's go back and publish that. So this is the step we forgot this time. We haven't published it. Back here on my warehouse functions and let me publish it.
So publishing is an important step to make sure you got the correct function, and we forgot that step, and that is why that's not appearing. Once it is published, you have to refresh that and get those functions. So publishing is in progress. So now it has published, we can use it. So now let's go back to Power BI desktop, and in the desktop, let's refresh our model. Home tab, refresh. Let's play around with this, change this, come back, change back, and data function, write to once equal, employee name, enter name, employee age, clear on the right. So what I'm going to do here is, before I go ahead and insert it, let me also create a table visual. EMP ID, name, and age. Now seems like age did not get unsummarized. Anyways, I can do it here. I'm expecting the second record to get inserted. So let me insert the second record. Name Sumit, age 34, and let me do control click. Record inserted, I'll get the correct message. If I don't get a message, I'll get an error message. It means the record is not inserted properly. A warehouse is a little tricky, and that is why I have shown you while with testing. And it did happen that I did commit some mistake, and because of that it did not work in the past. But this time at least insert is working, record is inserted. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Usually it should take only couple of seconds to add that record here. So we got the record. We have two records now. I am feeling a little lazy. Who will create one more page? Can I do one thing? Can I go and add one more button in this page only? I go to insert, table, one more button, blank. I bring it here and I'll give it a name. Inside the button style, update, and I go down. I enable the action data function. Workspace, again I'm going to select the same 0101 Fabric Copilot. Function set is demo emp, and the function is update 1 to SQLDB, and on the refresh I can make them empty. We'll go to FX and we'll depend on the selected employee ID, and we are going to take summarization as max. You should only select one. Employee name as enter name, employee age as age. We have the same form for both insert and update. So let me click on a record. I clicked on this record and let me enter the name again, Amit, and age is let's say 30. I want to update that. I come out, both of them are updated. Now need to be very careful. This is going to insert the record and update the record. But let me right now click on control click update. So this should update my first record because that's what is selected right now. The values are cleared. I'm waiting for the message to appear. I got a success message. Let me refresh it from the home tab. I'm hoping in a couple of seconds the records will get updated and I'll get a new age for the employee ID 1. As you can see, the data is updated, the age is updated. So we have seen how using Fabric data function, now from the Power BI desktop itself, we can create few forms using some of the visuals and the buttons and able to insert and update the data. Why don't you go ahead and try these features out, and do let me know what else you want me to cover in upcoming videos. Keep watching, keep asking questions in comment, press the bell icon so that you can get notification of my new videos. Thanks for watching this particular video. Thank you.